Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. Just got a few little things to talk about here, but I'll start us off with something where we might be getting some news, but obviously it is just pure speculation, and that is that we do have a pretty big Korra anniversary coming up in just a few days. The last episode of Korra, The Last Stand, aired, as you can see here, December 19th, 2014, and of course, in just 3 days, it's going to be December 19th, 2024. It's going to be the 10-year anniversary of the ending of Korra. It's going to be the 10-year anniversary of the last time we got mainline Avatar animated content as well. Obviously, the reason news might be possible is because, of course, Avatar Studios exists, and they still haven't really made a proper announcement about anything. And to celebrate the ending of the anniversary of the previous show by maybe talking about the plans for the future will be a nice thing, getting right towards the end of the year, getting close to 1 year to go until the Aang movie, the 2026 Aang movie, which is scheduled for January 2026. So we're really not that far away. At the very least, you know, to a certain degree, within the next couple of months, they're going to have to start saying something to do the bare minimum marketing for that movie. Why don't they at least start with something on this anniversary? Now, historically, they've not tended to overly hype up or do stuff surrounding anniversaries, but of course, because we're getting into Avatar Studios' range, they're going to have to treat these a little bit kind of differently, just because the franchise is now not in a kind of off period. It's now going to be active, but I still feel this one might be timed in a way where it just is a little bit too early. I think they'll say something about it because it's a notable anniversary, in that I think it will get acknowledged on social media, but I don't think they are really going to do much with it. I'd be surprised if we got news, but also the timing is kind of interesting. As a reminder, 2 years ago, 2022, was the 10-year anniversary of the start of Korra in April 2012. They did give us this logo, but again, it was just a pretty standard acknowledgement of Korra. But I also think it's fair to say, Korra hasn't really got a lot of attention over the last bunch of years. Like, given that there has been quite a bit of merchandise and stuff happening for Avatar over the last few years, it's been kind of incredible how little of it has been Korra focused. Like, a lot of the extra books aren't really Korra focused, where you'd say the RPG is the most where we focused on that. Even the Korra comics are only just getting going again, because they're, you know, obviously like Ruins of the Empire ended in like early 2020, so it's been years since the last Korra comic officially. Obviously we're not too far away from the Mako comic, but still it would be really cool to get some focus on this for the anniversary and maybe some big franchise news, given that we're waiting for it at some point overall. But let's jump into the news here properly. And we'll start with this. So Avatar is going to be having a video game collaboration with Overwatch 2. So Avatar skins effectively are coming to Overwatch. That's the basic idea here. I believe this is happening tomorrow on the 17th, because I think that is the launch of the next season. And their first collab is going to be with Avatar here. So you can see here the way that they're going to be doing it here, where the skins in Overwatch, the way they work is that it is the characters from Overwatch basically dressed up as the characters from Avatar. They are purposefully not trying to do a thing where the character effectively becomes the Avatar character. It is them effectively cosplaying as the Avatar character. So that's why I like just making the point of like, hey, don't get super weird about hardcore accuracy overall, because they have to try and fit the characters to, you know, the characters in Overwatch, of course. So we're getting May is going to be dressed as Katara, and it seems like she is going to be the one that is available for free if you do specific challenges. It says here you can unlock this one. All the other ones are, of course, going to be, I guess, paid for. in the shop. I looked it up. Most collaboration skins, it seems like, go for 2,500 like Overwatch coins, which effectively equates to, I think, like $25. So it is kind of expensive. Just be aware of that. So I think it's one of those things where, like, if you're into Overwatch and you're already playing Overwatch 2, this might be something very much for you. As someone who I played the original Overwatch the first kind of couple of weeks it came out, and I haven't really touched it since, I don't think I'm going to jump back in here, just because I would probably want to buy one of the skins, and it's expensive enough to where, yeah, I don't really kind of want to necessarily. And sort of the hero shooter genre is not like my absolute favorite, but still, it is a notable Avatar video game collaboration and worth talking about. So Mei is Katara, Aang is going to be Zenyatta, Orisa is going to be Appa, Venture is going to be Toph, Genji is going to be Zuko, and Kiriko is going to be Suki. So a pretty nice variation of characters here. You can see them all sort of here, where okay, we get the kind of main kind of elemental members of Team Avatar, where we have air, water, fire, earth. Suki is the non-bender representative over Sokka, which I think makes a bit more sense, just because maybe visually she maybe stands out a little bit more compared to Sokka, and because Sokka, maybe his character is more what stands out than maybe his design overall. I think that kind of makes sense. And then Appa, as I guess one of the kind of bigger kind of characters, is kind of a fun way to do him, I think, overall. And they always want to try and include Appa in these collaborations, of course. So very, very cool stuff there. And yeah, there are rewards and stuff like that. You can see here it's going to be from December 17th to the 30th overall. Theme sprays, voice lines, player icons related to Avatar. Seems pretty nice overall. So good stuff there, and we hope that stuff like this kind of continues to happen as we go forward, and especially as new elements of the franchise launch next year as well. So yeah, probably won't be messing around with this myself, but for people who are fans of Overwatch, there you go. Last piece of news is this. It's a small bit of Netflix Avatar news, and that is that they're actually using some of the sets from the TV show Shogun, and they're filming on them. So you can see here the feudal Japan set built for FX's Shogun. They are using this. Hard to say exactly what part they're going to do here. Like, they're going to be doing a lot in the Earth Kingdom. It's book 2 Earth. That's clearly what's going on here. Which specific part, it's maybe a little bit more difficult to say, just because, like, for sure there's going to be like the Toph episode, like Gao Ling. Is it going to be that? There's Ba Sing Se, but I'm guessing that might be where a lot of CG stuff comes into play. But depending on the area of Ba Sing Se, maybe they have a more concrete set. This is just one thing to highlight, with the idea that they don't seem to be using the volume much or at all for season 2, because it seemed to cause them a lot of post-production problems, which was kind of responsible for the show more or less being delayed into when it eventually launched for season 1. They have made a decision to move away from that, and as we can see here, they're doing stuff like, hey, they're not just making their own sets, they're making use of sets that are already kind of like built or in use, and that should be hopefully good for the budget of the show to help it kind of be the best it can be, because Shogun is a very good series. I have watched that, so cool that they're kind of making some extra use out of those sets. And obviously, like, they'll do extra stuff to make it more Avatar like as well, but you know, that makes sense overall. It's the usual thing, I think, with this sort of earlier stage in production stuff about the live action show, is that a lot of it is not super interesting until I think we're much closer to release, because we want to see how this is in execution rather than the minutia kind of details about every single part of the production. Not sure how much news there's going to be over the rest of the year. Obviously, there is a slight chance of something here for the anniversary, but I do think we are probably immediately looking ahead to next year. I still think it will be a few weeks or months into the year before we get anything, but it's sort of the idea that the countdown timer for Avatar Studios has definitely started. As we get into this, like, it's a year, just over a year to go. As we get to under a year, they've got to say something, because they're basically starting out at zero in terms of like 100% is them launching the show. They're at about like a 3. They've done bare minimum stuff. They don't have a title for the movie properly yet. There's no logo out there. Everything still has to happen for that. And when are they actually going to start? They've got some opportunities. I think we as fans would like them to do it as early as possible. But typically with these things, they do tend to wait until kind of the latest possible almost. So we could still be, I think, frustrated for the first few months of the year, but hopefully they speak up sooner rather than later. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think anything will happen for the anniversary of the ending of Korra? Thoughts on the Overwatch 2 collaboration for Avatar? And also, do you have any thoughts on Avatar using the Shogun sets? But yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.